Welcome back. This is the third and final instalment of the 5 Dams weekend, which was a ride taken by HOG Auckland Chapter back in May of this year. Leaving from Auckland and travelling down to Whakatane. On the way we stopped by 5 Dams and had a bit of a scenic ride all the way down the island, or rather down to the Bay of Plenty. In today's video, it's now Sunday morning and we are returning back home. We're heading up through the Rotorua Lakes District. We're going to be passing through a number of lakes and quite a big, beautiful scenic ride on the way back home as well. Why not? So that's the background for today's ride. Let's settle on in and watch how this one works out. Coming out of Whakatane, we start on State Highway 30, which pretty much takes us in a southerly direction for a spell until we get up towards Te Teko, at which time it swings westwards and takes us on past Rotomā, Rotoehu and Rotoiti. On the way, and the next one after that is the big one, Lake Rotorua. We will be turning off State Highway 30 at Rotorua. We'll be going, instead of through the township, we'll be swinging north and heading up around the northern side of the lake to pop out and eventually make our way to State Highway 5, but that's a little way to come yet. Now for at least this part of the ride we are backtracking a little bit, which is unavoidable. We're going to be heading soon past, or coming up to Te Teko, but before we get there we'll see a turn-off sign posted on the left, which is leading up towards Galatea, and that's where we came from when we visited the last of our 5 dams, the Matamata Dam. It's kind of up that way. You can see the signpost right there. So this intersection on the left, that's where we popped out of yesterday. We turned right and made our way through to Whakatane for the evening, and you would have seen that in last week's video. As we're making our way through to the first of the lakes, you'll notice that, well, once again we managed to strike out beautifully with the weather. It was an amazing day. This was actually Mother's Day back in May, this Sunday morning. So maybe that's why the roads were a little bit light on traffic, because everybody's celebrating mothers as they should and doing all the nice things. We chose to take those mothers that were amongst us on a motorbike ride, so I don't know who got the best deal there, but let's just say everyone's a winner on the day. Now I really don't have too many complaints about State Highway 30. On the way to Rotomā here, it's really good. There's enough interest in here to make it an interesting ride. The road is level, the roads are in great shape, and there's some interesting scenery along the way, but it really starts to turn on to something really nice when you get up to the lakes. Now I don't have a swivel head camera to be able to direct the view to the lakes, but I was swiveling my eyes in my head and I can tell you the lakes looked amazing. They were really calm as we came through, and the colours were awesome. You can see that as we come into hitting the shoreline of Lake Rotomā on State Highway 30 right now. Now as we come in through into Rotomā itself and the settlements on the shoreline along here, you can see there's actually, a lot of people are living here. Well, a few people. There's some homes here, and these are regular homes, not just the gigantic, enormous, occupied for 3 weeks of a year holiday mansions that people have got. These look like actual homes. Rotomā, we travel quite a way along this, then we come up to a glade that kind of gets us out, switching past Rotoehu, and eventually we get to Rotoiti, and that's through Hongis Track. And that's a fantastic glade in itself, so I'll tell you a bit more about that one when we come to it. Now I don't know if there's fish in the lakes. By fish I mean trout. I know there used to be in the rivers and streams around and about, because I used to have family lived in Kawerau, and my uncle took me fishing a few times down there in the 70s, and we caught fresh trout for breakfast. It was quite amazing. Haul it out the river, take it home, cook it up. Brilliant stuff. I don't know if that's still the case. I'd like to think it is, so I'll just hold on to that memory and say, yeah, it's still true. Now all the way on our ride back up and down, I was enjoying the autumn colours around about the countryside. I was just pointing something out there to my wife on the back. There are a lot of evergreen trees around the North Island, so of course you don't get the change in colour with those. They're called evergreen for a reason. I have seen autumn down in South Island, particularly around Arrowtown. It's amazing, brilliant, but it can also be really nice up here in the north, and we were enjoying those views as we came through. Anyway, we just passed through one of the glades here, and pretty soon we'll switch on to Hongis Track. Now that's also on State Highway 30, and that is it leads between Lake Rotoehu and Lake Rotoiti, and it's named after Hongi Heka. He was a rangatira, a Maori chief from the Iwi Ngāpuhi, well known and quite a dominant figure in the late 1700s, early 1800s in New Zealand history. Now in 1823, Hongi Heka and his men carried their waka, each weighing between 10 and 25 tons, carried them along this track between the lakes, between Rotoehu and Rotoiti, on the way to conduct a surprise raid on the Te Arawa people in Rotorua. So that's where the name came from. A bit of history for you there. Anyway, Hongis Track is a really fantastic little drive. I used to love coming through there as a kid. It loses none of its charm coming through here as a grown up on a motorbike all these years later. So well worth a look. State Highway 30, check it out if you can. Now this glimpse of Lake Rotoiti is the only one I've got, sadly. This is our last look at State Highway 30. As we approach to Lake Rotorua, we're going to turn north, get off State Highway 30, and briefly step onto State Highway 33. Don't have any footage of that one. Travel up there for a spell until we turn left onto Hamarana Road, which is the one we're looking at now. And this is travelling along the northern edge of the lake. We're heading along to a rest area where we stretch the legs for a bit. But in the meantime, we're enjoying the lake. And as you can see, this northern side here, at least at this time of year, doesn't get a lot of sunshine. So there hasn't really been a lot of rain going on, but the roads are still wet. They're very green on almost all of these corners. So it's a place to take it easy, have a bit of caution, because it's not the most sure of surfaces. Let's put it that way. Now, one thing riding in New Zealand, and especially the North Island, is you better be okay at cornering, because there's a lot of corners around here. There's not a whole lot of straight roads. Where there are, they're kind of a delight. Yeah, this is amazing. Look at this, straight road. But more often than not, you're turning corners all the time. So unless you're comfortable throwing your bike around a little bit, not necessarily at speed, but just enough to get you around, you're going to find it a little bit tricky navigating your way around the North Island. None of which, of course, is to put anybody off riding, or riding the North Island, or riding anywhere for that matter. Just ride what you can, go your own pace. You're going to be fine. You'll have a great time. As for us, we're just picking up from where we departed from our rest stop at the northern end of Lake Rotorua. We're on Hamarana Road still, and there was a rest area just back there that we'd just stretch the legs 15 minutes or so, have a little bit of a walk around, sip of water, and now we're ready to hit the road again. And heading down here at the top of the lake, thought, yeah, this looks familiar. I remember coming up here with my mate Dino. I'm just going to be pointing it out soon. There was a recon ride for a hard-ass ride that Dino put on a couple of years ago, and we did this one together and stopped over to the left there by the lake, where he put up the drone to take a bit of a flight to have a look, but conditions ended up being way too windy. He had to bring that thing down. And then we crossed over through to Tauranga on State Highway 36 through a gorge, and I swear that was one of the times I've come as close as I've ever come to running out of fuel right there in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, enough with the memories, let's get back to the present. And the present is, we're riding up Oturoa Road. And this one leads from Lake Rotorua and heads on up to State Highway 5, which it's our next kind of goal. We're heading up this road, and Oturoa Road's, it's a great one. A little dip back into memories again. We came down this one with Dino a couple of years ago. It's a whole different adventure heading up it. road is really good, gets a lot of sunshine, so there's not a lot of green here. The road is dry, got lots of curves and twists, very scenic. Now if you're wondering about a timeline here, we left Whakatane around about 9:30 in the morning, Sunday morning. We'd managed to get ourselves a good breakfast in town, raised a cup of coffee to all the mothers out there, it being Mother's Day and all, and then hit the road. And as we're here heading up Oturoa Road, the time when this is being filmed is about 11 AM in the morning, so we've been kind of on the go for not very long, about an hour and a half. We've already got this far, so you can see it's all very accessible, very doable when you're in the area. Now the last time I came through this road, and it was in the downwards direction heading towards the lake, I don't remember it being this good of a ride, but it really is, or at least if it's an okay ride heading down the hill, it's a magnificent ride coming up it. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, if you get a chance to head down or up Oturoa Road, then take it. You won't regret. The journey's fantastic, the road's good shape, it's got white lines all the way down the road, so it's big enough for 2 vehicles at all times, and it'll leave you some great memories, lasting memories. Now change of scenery again. As we move on to State Highway 5, we're travelling through Fitzgerald Glade. To the left here there's a cafe roadhouse, great food in there. We stopped there for lunch one time, and had a great meal, so do stop in there if you can when on the way through. It's got a overhanging bush canopy place, a little bit like Hongis Track, but without the history associated to it. Cool little ride. Everything feels great riding through this part of the road. Now with the magic of video, we're going to switch on to State Highway 24 as we're coming into Matamata, heading down Broadway, which is the main street. Matamata is known to many as Hobbiton these days because of the Hobbiton movie set, which is about 10-15 minutes at most from here, from the centre of town. And Matamata has really got a lot to thank the movie series for putting it on the map as a tourist destination. It gets very busy for that reason. Now it's just before midday, I think it's about 11:45 at the time we're pulling in here to park the bikes up, and we're going to grab a little bit of an early lunch to tide us up until the next stop, which will be the last, which is going to be up at Mudday Waters at Mercer. So we spent a pleasant half an hour, 45 minutes here, eating and having a little bit of a coffee fix before heading the road, and that's leaving now Matamata. So we didn't manage to all park together, we're all over the place, but I knew that we were going to be leaving. The call was to helmets on, we're off. Around the corner here there's a fire station, and I just formed up round over there, headed past the crew. Gary is not going to be travelling with us on this particular leg, he lives in Matamata, so a bit of a wave. And we've all regrouped, and now we're on the road again. This is Gun Road, and we're kind of getting into typical Matamata country here. Wide open spaces, long straight roads, and remember what I was saying on the way up here, there's not a lot of straight roads, at least down in the Bay of Plenty, but boy, there's plenty of room up here. Now on the Morrinsville-Walton Road, plenty of room again, but every now and again you get farm vehicles, which are always very obliging. They do get out the way whenever they can, so cheers to you, mate, making room for us. The road is empty, so we can use all the road we need to get past and safely travel on our way. It's nice that there are alternative ways to leave from Matamata. We travelled the Gun Road, Morrinsville-Walton Road route, which avoids having to be stuck on State Highway 27, which can be a little bit vanilla, a little bit boring. So yeah, this keeps you off the main route. It's a little bit lighter traffic. The roads are easily as good. The scenery also easily as good. So yeah, there are options. Just look on the map and figure out which way is going to suit you the best. Anyway, we've cut out a bit of that, the remaining ride there as we're approaching the motorway now. This is Tahuna Road. We're going to get on to the Waikato Expressway at the Rotorua Road on-ramp, and this is when we're starting to get to the business end. We're done with scenic riding from here. From this point onwards, it's multi-lane high-speed road, so our weekend away is coming to an end, but we've still got a little bit of riding to do before we get ourselves up to Mercer, so let's just enjoy that. So as we're travelling northward on the Waikato Expressway, we can reflect on a great weekend away riding. We saw some cool stuff yesterday with the 5 dams. We had a great night in Whakatane with the crew, and we all managed to have dinner together with the Cobb & Co establishment. Food was great, service was fine. They even managed to serve up a traffic light drink, which I haven't seen in a very long time, and it was very tasty, quite refreshing, I have to say. Anyway, here we are now. We're coming into the Mercer Service Centre, and this is about the time that we'll let this one just wrap up as we park the bikes. If you've been watching it all the way through and over the course of these 3 weeks, the series, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And take care out there, ride safe. Catch you on the next one.